So we have been looking at the whole idea of faith and work, and in the last 3 videos we have looked at several aspects of that. Now in this video we are going to think about the consequence of sin on work and what are the problems of work, or our problems with work because of sin. We focus too much on, we focus a lot on Genesis 1 and 2, which was before the fall or before sin came into the world. And that was helpful to show us that work is not a necessary evil, because in a perfect world, God commands and mandates human beings to work. Now in this section, we are going to think about how sin brings challenges to work itself. Now, when you go to Genesis chapter 3, because of man's rebellion and sin against God and the command God has given him, sin comes into the world and it comes into the heart of man. And through that, we see how that affects work itself. And the first consequence is the curse that comes upon humanity, whether it's Adam or Eve, or even the serpent, who is the devil. And one of the consequences is that we see that work changes and it becomes a toil. It becomes almost fruitless. And we see that in Genesis chapter 3, when man is told he has to sweat a lot in order to be able to make a living. And now that's different from Genesis 1 and 2. And actually the land, the ground, becomes also cursed. And the Bible talks about thorns and thistles. The ones that will have been productive now becomes a barren land. And what that shows is that work becomes fruitless because of sin in the world, and that becomes challenging. Of course, you've heard or you've gone to rural areas and you see how people work so hard to make ends meet, and yet sometimes it doesn't add up. It doesn't even bring the fruit that they so much desire. The second aspect of our problems with work is that work becomes pointless. I don't know whether you are like me, but there are times when you start questioning a lot of things about work. So what's the end of what I'm doing today? How about if I'm not there? And it's so interesting when you think in history that humanity spends a lot of time creating something, but it just takes one moment to bring everything down. And what that tells you, it doesn't matter how hard we work in this world, because of sin and the heart of man in the world, there comes a time that someone will bring all our lives' toil down. And the author of Ecclesiastes chapter 2, from around verse 17 there to verse 20, brings this clear, that one of his greatest fear is the fact that he would toil so much under the sun, but someone else will come and enjoy these benefits, or actually bring down all that he has created. That makes us feel that probably when we work, it's a pointless thing because someone can come and destroy it. And that is a consequence of the fall. So work becomes fruitless and work becomes pointless. And sometimes we feel this way in our workplaces. We even question, is my output quite helpful in my workplace? Am I feeling like my work is fruitful? Am I feeling like my work is important? Is there that feeling where you're feeling, maybe this is not making sense for me? Or even sometimes we can have that feeling of you're waking up and you're not sure whether you want to go to work tomorrow. So all those feelings come because of sin and how it has tainted God's initial plan and design for work. So work becomes fruitless and work can become pointless. So hold on as we think about the next bit of our problems with work.